My name is Adrian with Project Ramos, and on this channel I do tech reviews and tech unboxing, so if you're into that type of content, consider subscribing. This is a 67 watt Onko charger. This charger is tiny, but it packs a ton of power. It comes with two USB Type-C charging ports and a USB Type-A charging port. Before we get into the specifics of this charger, I just want to show you a quick comparison here. This is the Apple 20 watt charger that you can buy currently right now from Apple. In comparison here, look at the size difference. The Onko is almost the same size as the Apple charger. It's a little bit bigger, but pay attention to the size here. It's almost there, in terms of it's a little bit taller, but as far as the thickness, they're about the same thickness, and the difference between these two is quite a bit. The Apple charger, 20 watts. This charger, 67 watts with 3 charging ports versus only 1 charging port on the Apple charger. So those are the advantages that you're getting with this Onko 67 watt charger. Now let's go over the specifics. Now, if you take a look at the charging panel here, you're going to get 2 USB Type-C charging ports and 1 USB Type-A charging port. The USB Type-C charging ports are capable of putting out up to 67 watts each, whereas the USB Type-A charging port can put out a maximum of 18 watts. Now, one thing to note about this charger is, and this actually applies to any charger with multiple charging ports, the maximum amount of power that this charger puts out is 67 watts. So if you plug in one item, you can get all 67 watts out of either one of the USB Type-C charging ports or the full 18 watts out of the USB-A charging port. However, as soon as you introduce a second or even a third device to charge, then the power gets divided. Now, the way it's divided is if you plug in 2 USB Type-C charging devices, now the power is going to be split where the top USB-C port will put out 45 watts and the second USB-C port will put out 20 watts. So 65 watts total there. Now, if you plug in either one of the USB Type-C charging ports and the USB-A charging port, now you're going to get, I believe it's 45 watts out of the USB-C charging port and 18 watts out of the USB-A charging port. So it does change depending on how many ports you're using at one time. Now, with 67 watts, you're going to be able to fast charge your smartphone and your tablet at the same time, or you can charge a laptop off of this. It will be more suited for smaller laptops, kind of like the MacBook Air. You could charge, other laptops that are a little more power hungry, but it's going to charge slow. Now, one of the cool features of this charger is that the AC prongs are retractable. So when you're not using it, you can just retract those AC prongs and it saves you some space there. Now, if you are curious or can't remember the power output combinations, the manufacturer does include that right here. It's silk screened right on the side where the AC prongs are at. It's real small, real tiny to read, but you can take your phone, take a picture of it as close as you can, and then you can zoom into it. That way you can read it if you are curious what the power output is, depending on what port you're plugging into. Now, I have already tested this charger, and I can tell you that all the ports perform as these specs call out, but we'll go ahead and show you our test results here. That way you can see for yourself that each one of these ports performs as stated. So we're currently drawing 67 watts out of the USB Type-C port 1, and you can see that it's working as expected. We're drawing 67 watts, 3.4 amps at 19 volts. We're now plugged into the second USB Type-C charging port, and we're drawing 67 watts, 3.4 amps at 19 volts. Everything working as expected. We're now plugged into the USB Type-A charging port. We are pulling 18 watts, 1.5 amps at about 12 volts. Everything working as expected. So overall, this is a great charger, especially if you do a lot of traveling or if you're going back and forth to the office and you're always on the go. This is a great charger to take along with you. That way you can eliminate a bunch of chargers. You can eliminate your smartphone charger, you can eliminate your tablet charger, and in some cases you could even eliminate your laptop charger. So given the footprint of this charger and the amount of power that it puts out, this is a great alternative and a great way to be able to replace all of your chargers and only have to carry this one.